This is one of those rare times that this actually video doesn't really have like a major central point. I just kind of wanted to get into this because it's so kind of funny how the Dokkan community is reacting to this speculation. You know, if you've been in Dokkan for a while, use you hear people all the time say, "We need hints. We need hints. We want hints." So then people don't leak things. Well, they've dropped a hint, and it's really done irreparable rather damage to the community in a really funny way. What do I mean by that? Well, so we have Minato here saying that if they do end up doing a Shallot, I think they should make him a character like these guys. Shallot makes a lot of sense. It's the 7th anniversary of Dragon Ball Legends. Now, let me just say, they could end up sort of overlapping Legends, kind of, you know, outdoing them if Shallot ends up being really good, because what are a lot of people's complaints with Legends right now? It's that they just got, oh, you know, Vegeta isn't worthy of a 7th anniversary. Oh, not another UI Goku. So if Dokkan drops a Shallot and, you know, he's got Android 21 original, like, great animations, and I don't know, he just looks good, right? Maybe he goes through all the Super Saiyan forms. I think that's kind of getting in Legends' way, but that's not really what this is about. What this is kind of about is Axel says Dokkaners are oddly excited for a mediocre Goku clone with one notable move as a DFE. And the True DT says Dokkan Twitter is truly miserable if we aren't even allowed to be hyped for a collab. And this is really just been spitting me out because, one, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but here is the argument being made here. The explosive event, the gamma ray, the atomic breath from Godzilla, the fucking elbow drop off the top rope. So someone says, first in Beck says, one villain in one arc of original Dragon Ball over the main character of the entirety of Legend's story. No, man, I'm sorry, but it doesn't even seem logical. A main DB villain and the first real big bad Goku has ever faced versus the self-insert character from Legend Story Mode. The actual fucking series is that cheap to us at this point. How did we get here, man? To which King Nano, you know, coming down from the mountain to speak from Olympus at us, coming off the hot streak of, you know, key moments with Dotodoya, calling one more bonus trash. I don't know if I've ever seen a post from you on my timeline where you're happy or even satisfied with something this game does. It's just an all-out war, man. It's civil war out here. All from a stick in the sand. And you know what the funniest part about this is? It could literally not even be Tao and Shallot. This is so great. What an amazing thing this was. Because this has incited such a frenzy, despite being literally nothing. Someone said that this could be Android 17 from the TOP. This could be Daima Goku Super Saiyan 3. This could be Tao, like they've said. This could be them leaving for Namek. This could be a Namek Bulma. This could be, you know, just over and over. So to think we've ended up in this place where we are at a full-on, like, you know, dire straight situation, like, what? This is great. They need to do a hint for every single character, and they need to lock in and make it esoteric, because the Dokkan community cannot handle even a little bit of fucking edging, dude. The third theory that it's something else entirely, and I feel like that's funnier, that is way funnier than it being either of these. But I guess I forgot to ask, if you made it this far into the video, like, how are you feeling about, like, a Shallot? Like, does that do anything for you? Like, if it was Shallot to commemorate the 7th anniversary of Legends, and he went through all the forms, how do you feel about that? Because you know, one thing about Dokkan this year is that tag characters are definitely stretching them a little thin, I think. So to think they do 5 transformations or something like that is sort of eyebrow raising, though could be cool. You know, it'd certainly be a cool character. I think this mechanic is something we just haven't gotten enough of. Yeah, so we go here. Dokkan is the only game that would make DB fans argue Shallot versus Tao. So there is one thing I guess we should talk about in this spot as why Shallot makes sense, I guess, as like a hint from the Japanese fandom, as a hint from for aimed at mostly Japanese players who would understand this like reference, I guess. And why Daima Goku is probably more likely. So let me just pull that up really quickly. So not gonna make a video on it because it's a wait and see moment, but them dropping Daima right now, much like Legends dropping Super Saiyan 4 seemingly randomly, is very likely if they're trying to tax you before the half ante, it wouldn't just be some random filler month. It's purposeful. You know, I got Goku thinking there. I was doing all my optics. So I wasn't really gonna make a video being like, oh my god, who could it be? Because I already did that. And like I said, because I already did that video, you don't really need to see me go through the timeline again. But I just want to say, we got hype last year, and you could say this wasn't hype because, you know, this character wasn't good. But Goku Black is undoubtedly hype. Like, I pulled for that character because it was a global first. You know, it wasn't in this time slot. This is the time plot for JP. But just to say that, like, it was hype. It was cool getting a Goku Black. What was it for this one? Turles, less hype. But, I mean, I like Turles. I'm only saying less hype because undoubtedly Turles is less hype than, like, I don't know, Vegito for people, right? But I think Turles is cool. It was RF Blues. RF Blues are interesting. I think in 2022, RF Blues are probably seen as pretty hype. Even though that movie is not remembered fondly by a lot of the community, I think that's probably seen as hype. The 30th here was Gohan from the movie. I would say it's pretty low hype. You know, it's Kid Gohan, not the Gohan everyone loves, but Gohan undoubtedly is like a usually pretty hype character for people. This one was this Kefla. This Kefla's good. That's pretty high. So like what I'm seeing here essentially is that this slot is usually not just kind of, yeah, I mean, this was Namek Goku, and these are pretty good animations here. Yeah, this slot's usually pretty hype, no? What's this one? It would have been this Gohan. So again, another Gohan, another real Gohan. So yeah, it's one of those things where, for whatever reason, this slot is packed with a pretty interesting character each time, as sort of, I guess, like soured, you could say it is by like maybe Turles being there. You know, not everyone finds Turles cool. I find Turles cool. You can definitely see the fact that it's not really an empty celebration. I mean, more hype picks than not, right? Like, undoubtedly, like, am I capping there? Like, if you've made it this far, like, more hype picks than not there. You know, Kefla, Namek Goku, you know, one of the biggest moments in the series, arguably the defining moment in Dragon Ball Z and onward. You know, Super doesn't happen without Namek Goku, right? Not because of Goku, but because of transformations. Like, anime changed around Namek Goku. So yeah, I mean, global download celebration coming up. Big question mark for something like Shallot with Legends in their 7th anniversary. The reason I say that this probably isn't Shallot, this is my theory that I tend to go with, is that Dokkan and Legends do not like getting in one another's way, because as boring as that sounds, I think that it's business. Why pull attention from one when you can make money in one, then bounce to the other? You know, when Legends is having sort of a dry period, Dokkan is doing something big. When Dokkan's kind of having like an in-between period, Legends is usually doing something big. To me, that's just because they know that people need to restock, get their money together so they can spend on both, because they're both big Dragon IPs that are making money for the same company, still making money for Bandai, right? So that's just me. As for who I think it will be, as of this hint, because I said this should be Garlic Jr. I said this slot should be Garlic Jr. no matter what, because Garlic Jr. literally sets up a Goma later. He is the partner for Goma, so which means now that Goma is going to need to be by himself on an island if they decide to drop a demonic power Goma at some point with a Super Saiyan 4 Goku, right? That's just how it is. If I were to choose from these hints, I think it's Goku. I think it's Daima Goku. and it's going to be like some maybe Daima Super Saiyan 3 Goku standalone into a Super Saiyan 4 mini into whatever the actual like Legends Festival will be, right? Or not, or Global Download Celebration will be. I don't really know where they'll go after that, but I think Daima Goku looks good here. I think Shallot is a little bit of a pipe dream. I get it, but you know, I get people want the collaboration, but I just see this as sort of wishful thinking. I don't think Dokkan will get in Legends way. I'm more inclined to believe this is Daima Super Saiyan 3, or this is Mercenary Tao even, you know what I mean? The third one I saw that would be interesting, in terms of like what I think it could be, is more tournament power. I mean, hate to just like spout what truth says, but yeah, I mean, Dokkan loves tournament of power. Dokkan loves tournament power much more than Legends. So if this is another tournament of power buff, I'm gonna shrug my shoulders and go, yep, that's Dokkan. So with all that being said, like if you liked the video, subscribe to the club, we all go make it, and peace.